G'day guys, today I'm going to be talking about how we balance screen time for our 3-year-old. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips along the way that's worked for us, and hopefully they will help you guys out as well. This video was a request, so thank you for sending me a DM in Instagram, and I hope this helps you and your family. So before I start, screen time is another one of those parenting topics that's quite controversial. So I thank you for respecting our family and what we've done, and you do what's right for you and your family. There's no one else in the world that is our family with our home, so this is what's worked for us. So we made screen time part of our daily routine 2 weeks before our daughter turned 3. We decided that our son was having long lunchtime naps, and so she was having an hour of quiet time beforehand, and we decided to make from 2 to 2:30 screen time. So when I say screen time for us, that means using the TV, so we watch DVDs. We're a bit old school, we don't actually have a smart TV, so we connect a HDMI cable to our laptop and then use the internet for the shows we want. The hour before screen time is quiet time, so this is a really important time for our family. Our son is asleep, he is 1. I am having some me time. This is a bit of time for myself in the middle of the day. My daughter is having quiet time in her room. When I say quiet time, I mean quiet time. So no calling out to me. She's able to go to the bathroom and back, but otherwise she's playing quietly in her room. I've explained to her the importance of me having my own time and her brother having a sleep and her just having a downtime because we've had a busy morning. I also really think this has helped with us having quiet time because screen time is a privilege. So in order to get screen time, she has to be in her room playing quietly for that hour beforehand. If she's calling out, which she did on one occasion, and she was warned, then there was no TV time. To be honest, I think she probably did it once. Kids learn so quickly, whereas now she's even excited to go to quiet time because after quiet time, she has telly time. When it's 2 o'clock, I go down and get her in her room. And interestingly, I've found she's actually been having a bit of a nap. I've gone into her room and on 10 occasions she has been asleep. But I wake her up at 2 o'clock, we come upstairs and she gets to select what she watches. So some of her favourites are the Gruffalo, the Whale and the Snail, and these are both on ABC iView. I'll link them down below. Like I said, I just use the internet and there's no ads, which is really awesome. And the other two she really likes, and I actually think these are educational, is Pooh Counting 1, 2, 3 and Pooh ABC. And because of those, she's now writing E for Eeyore, P for Piglet, T for Tigger, O for Owl, and that's what she's learnt from watching those. She also throughout the day sings the songs they sing. So I really do think screens can be educational, and I use them as a parenting tool. So for us and our family, we've decided that's the best time for us, so that's what we're using. So I'm not against screens, I just use them to my advantage. We use a 30-minute sand timer to signify when screen time is finished, and this works so well because it's not me saying to her it's time to finish, turn it off. When the sand timer has finished, then she gets up and turns off the television. If for some reason she hasn't noticed, she's so enthralled in that TV show, then I'll just prompt her, has the sand timer finished, and she'll go have a look. If the show's finished, because some of the shows go for like 25 minutes, she will go and check. If there's still sand in the sand timer, then we'll put something else on. While she's having this quiet time, I actually am normally sitting on the same couch with her and editing a YouTube video. Something I have tried to do, especially in these early days, is of all those things, I have watched them first before I got her to watch them, just to kind of see what's in it. It's amazing what's in kids' TV. By me also being there and I'm having some downtime, we'll actually talk. We'll talk about what Pooh's doing or Piglet's doing. She'll tell me, oh, Piglet's going to get something, or so it's actually a great chance for us to connect a little bit and for her to work on her language skills. And if there's anything she's not kind of understanding, I mean, in those early days, if something was a bit scary, then she'd just come closer to me. But we haven't always been like this. So before she turned 3, we never had TV on every day, and honestly that was our choice as well as our home setup. Our house is 3 levels, and up the very top level is where the TV is and our master bedroom, and it's blocked off all the time, so the kids don't go up there. There's not toys or anything, so there would be days that we weren't having TV and we just go about what we were doing. Of course there were times when she had TV in the morning when she was sick, when we needed a break. Like I said, for me, screen time has always been a tool. In those early days when we were going out to restaurants, I can remember when we were up in northern Queensland on a holiday, and Dave and I wanted to have a really nice dinner, and so she sat there watching the Wiggles nursery rhymes. It was fine. It was the last night of our holiday and it worked really well. But one of the reasons that we haven't made screen time part of our routine before that is because our daughter's behaviour would really change after she'd watched a screen. So she'd be a different kid. She's a very happy, easygoing kid. But after she'd had screen time, she would be whingy, annoyed, frustrated. Like I said, it was a different kid. So we might get some screen time, and then the person we had to deal with afterwards was just difficult. It was like, is it even worth having a screen time? And we decided that it wasn't, so we didn't have it for a while. I actually did a little bit of research in this, and I listened to a podcast called The Play Squad, and the actual episode was called Demystifying the Techno Tantrum with Dr Kristy Goodwin, and it explained so much. She explained that what's actually happening with the kids is a neurobiological response to, they're basically having dopamine withdrawal when you turn the screen off. It was giving them dopamine and then you turn it off. And she spoke about how every kid has a different tipping point. So some kids might be able to watch an hour and then they'll be fine. They continue on, they go and do something else, and there's no kind of side effects. Whereas the host actually spoke about her son having 15 minutes and then would have a 45-minute tantrum. And that was what happened with her son. So I'll link that down in the description box if you want to have a listen. But another great thing I got from it, which made sense to me, is she talked about there are 7 different developmental needs that a child has. So I've written them down here: relationships, language, play, physical activity, nutrition, executive functioning skills, impulse control. So there's those 7 things. And she talked about a glass jar, and each one of those things are marbles. And by the time you put them into the jar, have you got time for screen time? So instead of, she said, it having screen time and then getting to the end of the day and being like, oh, well, did we play outside? She said about putting all those into your day first, and then if you've got time, have screen time. And that made a lot of sense to me. And so when she was a 2-year-old, there were times where we didn't have TV for days because we were just busy. You know, we'd go out in the morning and then we'd have lunch and then she'd have a sleep, and that, you know, there just wasn't time for screen time. But now we've made it part of our daily routine and I'm really happy with it. My 1-year-old, he doesn't have any screen time. When she's having screen time, he's asleep. I asked on Instagram if anyone had any questions, so thank you for those who asked, and I'll answer them as best I can. So the first one is, do you set an amount of time as a limit for screen time or decide based on how the day is going? So as I said, we use the sand timer. So it's 30 minutes once the sand timer is turned over. There is definite times that I haven't turned it over at the start, and halfway through the show my daughter has reminded me, and we always stop the session when the sand timer has finished. So if I don't turn it over straight away, then she gets more time. Number 2, is there a time of day you are more open to letting kids watch videos, e.g. the end of the day? So when she was 2, we made a bit of a mistake. So she was waking up early, probably about 5 o'clock, and we wanted to keep her quiet because I had a newborn baby. I was up breastfeeding, so me and my son used to sleep in and Dave used to get up with our daughter. But the problem with that was, is she was getting up, you know, 5:30, going upstairs, watching some Play School on a DVD, and then because she'd started the day by being entertained, she kind of wanted to be entertained for the rest of the day. Whereas I actually prefer now what we do, 9 o'clock in the morning, she'll do an activity, and then that's such a catalyst for independent play. So we've definitely found that TV in the morning didn't work for our family, and then we haven't really used it around tea time. We like to go for a late afternoon walk outside and then come back and have dinner. So we just have screen time at 2 to 2:30. The last question is how much screen time is okay for a 2-year-old? So I had a look at the Australian recommendations. They say for under 2-year-olds to have no screen time, and 2 to 5-year-olds to have 1 hour of screen time. That's their recommendation. So guys, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to link my 2 videos that I've got on toddler activities for a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. So if you want to click on that to get some ideas, like I said, these are fantastic for building connection with you and your child that then fills up their love tank, and then they go off and play independently. Thanks heaps for watching. Bye.